Hey guys, Skip George here, and I'm sending this in to Josh Satterley over at the FTCA Chiro Gym Hybrid Group on how to use these mini bands, especially from Perform Better. So I'm going to be talking to you about using a mini band in a Postural Restoration Institute or PRI context, obviously, since I work for PRI and I also have a practice here in La Jolla, California. So here's a pelvis, and what I love about using mini bands is first looking at direction of fibers of the glute max. You know, basically if you've got sagittal fibers that are extending a hip, that's one direction, but another direction of fibers are fibers that wrap around to provide this angle of external rotation of a femur in relationship to a pelvis. So in PRI, we look at this from not only a rehab standpoint, but a performance standpoint as well. So when we're in this pattern in PRI called being on your right leg, we have a name for that. Also, you may know a little something about PRIs, and one of the big concepts is we get lateralized, we're stuck on one side of our body and can't really effectively get on the other side. And we see that in people's posture. For instance, their right leg or their right shoulder is low and they're stuck on their right leg. So in PRI, we look at, okay, how can we get from one side of the body, i.e. the right, over to the left? And one of the things that drives us over to the left side of our body is a right glute max. Specifically, the deficient fibers on the right side are the external rotation fibers. So I like to facilitate the external rotation on the right glute max while we're facilitating the sagittal fibers of not only the hamstring, but the glute max on the left side. So we're going to do what's called a standing right glute max with resistance. So I'll put my pelvis down, get up against the wall. You can see I already have my band on here. I'm using a yellow band. You don't really need a lot of resistance, since this is not a strength training, it's an activating type of a repositioning. And it's also something that tells your brain to tell your right glute max to turn on more. So we'll get up against the wall. I've got my feet about 10 inches away from the wall. I'll bend that left knee a little bit. I'm going to tuck my butt under. So my sacrum comes up off the wall or the mirror, but my lower back is flat. I'll bring my right foot back up, and I'm going to drop my left shoulder. That starts taking me over to the left side. I'll feel my left abdominal wall engage, because remember, we're going to be using breathing with a right glute max, external rotation, right glute max, repositioning with the help of a mini band to provide resistance to the external rotation fibers of the right glute max. So here we go, bend the knee a little bit, I'll drop the left shoulder, and one last thing, I'm going to have you visualize, put an arrow down toward your knee on your right leg, so you actually push that right knee toward the ground a bit. That starts to turn the pelvis to the left, puts you on your left leg, puts you on your left side. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that right knee and take it out, externally rotate it, using my right glute max. While I do that, I'm going to push my right arch down a little bit. Now the reason I push my right arch down as my in or down, the pronation, let's put it that way, of that right foot, as the right knee is externally rotating, that combination of all these things working at once puts me better on my left leg. It puts my socket right over the ball on the left side. The right glute max with this mini band is driving me over to the left. Breathe out as far as you can. Hold that air out for about 4 seconds. Hold this position, feel the right glute max, feel the left leg working hard. Breath in through the nose. Relaxing the neck, breathe out. I feel my left abdominal wall, right glute max, left butt, left hamstring, rolling in my right arch. Take a breath in, breath out. Mini bands turning on, signaling my external rotation fibers of my right glute max to turn on. Haven't taken a breath in yet. And one more breath in. So that's a standing wall supported right glute max with resistance on the PRI. Take care, everybody.